I'm going to show you how to build SHAREN with limited resources. My name is Words. Let's do it. First thing first, we go to Descendant, and then these are the modules that I'm using. Now, you may not have to use Void Domination, but it is very good. If you have it, you just need to use it. And I'm using the Mid-Air. You can use whatever you want. And the most important modules that you're going to need is those three that I'm going to show you real quick. The Maximize Duration, the Battle of Stamina, and the Skill Extension. Those are the three that you need to make sure that you have, because this is going to make your grind a lot easier if you have those. And you don't have to spend too much with the amount of capacities that you have. Now, the rest of them is going to be for survivability. If you can survive by yourself, and if you don't have anybody to play with, then you need some survivability, because SHAREN is going to be very squishy. So we're going to go with some health and some cooldown, and increase HP. And we also have HP collectors. This one, when you kill people, if you get this max out, then you're going to get some health back. So this is very good if you can slot this, but you don't really need this. You just got to make sure that you can survive after you complete the infiltration. So I'm going to show you everything that is in there, just in case you want to make a copy of it. So these are only the catalysts that's in there. They came with the character, so you don't have to spend anything. Although I would highly suggest that if you can, just to make sure that you put the energy activator on there. That way you have more capacity for you to use, because a lot of the modules, if they are not catalyzed, they are very expensive. They have a lot of capacities that you need to get them to work. Again, just take a look at this real quick. And now this one right here, because the slot's already available, this is for survivability. Some of the bosses, reactor bosses, or any boss in the game, would have some element that they can apply to you and make you very vulnerable and kill you very fast. So I use these because you can interchange those for different element. So this one is the burn element for heat, and then you can also use the ones for chill, one for toxin. So if you have them and you know which boss you're going to fight and you're having a lot of hard time with the boss because of the element, then just make sure you put those on for the resistance. So that's why this is on there, but you don't need that. If you can do without it, just go for it. Now, these are the modules. So now let's go to the components. And first, with the reactors, you need to try to get yourself a reactor that have skill duration. And I'm going to show you why in a second. Skill duration is going to be very important. But if you don't have it, you can still get this done. And for the components, I go for as much HP as possible. Also on the sensor, and make sure that you have some max MP on there. And also, if you can get max HP, just make sure you put that on there. Now, the next two are very important for your duration. The reason why the Annihilation set is very good for skill duration. So if you have two of them, it doesn't matter which two. It could be the top two, or it could be the top two. Whatever you can get, you can just put them on and you'll get that 5.57% duration. This is going to help you tremendously to make infiltration a lot easier. So now you see all the components, see the reactors, and I'm going to tell you the reason why that you need as much duration as possible. SHAREN's second ability is where it's going to turn you invisible. And the more duration that you have, the better. Like you can see all those things that I showed you, that's what allows me to have that 20.1 second duration. And with 20.1 second duration, you can do any of those infiltration. Some infiltration outposts have 4 canister that you have to deactivate. Some have 3. But if you have the one that 4, sometimes they are very awkward. So with 20.1 second, you have plenty of time to actually get this done a lot easier. So that's why we have this. Now, beside active camouflage your second ability, everything else doesn't really matter. But since we have void domination on there with this option right here, as you can see, when you use this, you're going to do a lot of damage. You're going to apply electrocution on the enemy. You're going to do burst damage. It's glorious if you have it, but if you don't have it, that's okay. You can just do with what you got. Now, I'm going to go on the map to a location where there are 4 canisters, and we're going to demonstrate how this works. Now, I'm going to go to Agna Desert because there is one outpost that has 4, and that is this one right here in the Vermilion Waste in Agna Desert. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we go private, because you don't want to go public because you might encounter other players that are there and they can interrupt you because they don't really know what you're doing a lot of the time. So that's the reason why you need to make sure you go private instead. So we're going to fast travel here if you have this fast travel point. All right, so now once you get to the area, the first thing you need to make sure that you put a waypoint on there. That way it marks the location. Even if you are not looking at the map, then you can see the timer. Then that allows you to activate your camouflage whenever you want to. Now, the reason why you want to make sure that you mark the area, that way when you get out of the map, then you can still see the timer. So normally when I do this, I already got my button on my controller ready. Once it go to 1 second and I press the camouflage button, and that gives me plenty of time to actually do all that stuff. Now, like I said, this one is 4. So a lot of time you have to use your grapple to make it go faster, but sometimes it could be a detriment. So we're going to try to do this as fast as we can so we can get this done. Now, once we get this done right here, this is time for killing things. Now, a lot of time, if you don't have enough health to withstand the enemy, then you can die. So we're going to try to kill the boss as fast as possible, and that way it'll despawn all the enemies. That's your main objective, to try to kill the boss as quick as possible. That way it will despawn the enemy. And you're doing this for those patterns that are only available when you infiltrate successfully with SHAREN. So if we look at the map right here, and if we scroll down, you can see this one right here. It says additional reward for successful infiltration. If you are not successful in the infiltration, so you won't be able to get pattern 089 for this particular outpost. So that's the reason why you do what you do. That 20.1 second is a lot of time to get this done. Now, some outposts are very, very awkward. So you just got to make sure that you familiarize yourself with the terrain before you can get it done successfully. Again, always make sure that you do it in time, and that way you can infiltrate. Anyway, that's how this goes. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this helps you out. I will see you guys in the next one.